Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Undocumented Health, the podcast where we talk about health in ways that don't show up in conversations with our doctors. Now, before we even get into today's episode, I just want to set the scene. It's probably late at night, you have at least three things to do, one thing you've been avoiding for way too long, and now you're thinking, how could I possibly accomplish this all in the next 24 hours? That feeling, that slightly chaotic, overwhelmed, but almost a weirdly productive panic, yeah, that's what we're talking about today. Today's episode is all about academic stress, but not just stress in the I have an exam tomorrow kind of way. We're looking at how people actually deal with that stress, how they're supported, and what care looks like in those moments of stress. And I'm really excited because I'm joined by someone who experienced a very different kind of school environment growing up in India. One that's often described as fast-paced, high pressure, and very academically demanding. We're going to talk about what stress looked like for her, how she managed it, and how care and support showed up in her life, especially now that she's living in Canada, away from her family and navigating stress in a completely different way. So let's get into it. I'm joined today by my coworker Nidhi, who grew up and went to school in India before moving to Canada. I thought she'd be a really great person to talk to because her experience with school and stress is pretty different from mine. And I think it gives a really interesting perspective on how people deal with pressure and what care looks like in those moments. So, Nidhi, do you want to just start by telling us a little about your school experiences growing up?
So yeah, like I used to study in like government university. So growing up, my school experience was like very structured and only academic focused. So like we had a lot of exam pressure and the main goal was always to perform well in exam no matter what.
Right. So when you were feeling really stressed in those overwhelmed experiences just because of that fast-paced environment, how did you kind of deal with that?
So I still remember I had like my first physics exam and I was so stressed before a night of that because I was not able to remember any formulas and that. But to manage it, I broke the like materials into the smaller portion and then I used to focus on the revision on one section at a time. And I also used to take like small breaks and used to go for a walk or to clear off my mind, which helped me feel in more control. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel that for sure. I'm someone who's really big on exercise too, just to get you in a different headspace and just being outside, I think gives you a really good, just different environment to kind of wake up your brain and think about something different than the material so that you can kind of start on a new, fresh, page. So I really like that point. Did your family or friends play a role in helping you manage that stress at all?
Absolutely. Friends and family were a huge support. Like the night before exams, we had a group studies to just clear up the concepts and the main topics which might be on our exams. And at a home, my mom used to like make me some tea and bring me some snacks. And my father had a good gesture that he used to drop me and pick me up from the school every time I had an exam.
Oh,
So yeah.
nice. It's a fun little routine. Is there any specific cultural foods or like drinks that are really specific to India that you really resonate when it comes to like stress relieving?
Oh, so yeah, my mom used to give me like turmeric milk, which helps in stressing, like release your stress hormone. So you won't be more stressed and you will be more focused on your study. So yeah, that was the like main thing I used to drink during my exams.
Nice. For me, my mom, if I get super stressed out, I think it's just the warmth of specific items, like that hotness. But my mom would always just make me like a cup of hot chocolate, even if it was like summertime or like really warm months. I don't know, just something like the warming effect of like a nice warm drink. I just feel like that really is something that relieves my stress too. So I want to shift a little bit, just because moving to another country is very stressful, as I can imagine. I mean, I don't have that experience myself, but I can only imagine myself in that spot, and it's a very completely different way of managing stress, I feel like. So do you feel like how have you managed stress now that you're here? Is there any differences that you do just because now your support systems aren't necessarily there, right?
Yeah, so like it is definitely different from back home. Like back home, support was on and hand-ons. Like my family was around every day. They could like I talked to them, they could sense a stress and help me immediately. But now in Canada, it's like more intentional. Like my family and I check on each other through like video calls, messages, and voice notes. So yeah, it is kind of different, but now I had made a like small friend circle here. Like of course my coworkers like you and my previous place coworkers and friends. So supports now look like something helping me navigating like a new responsibilities, like also sharing an advice or inviting me out when I'm feeling homesick. So yeah, it's kind of different from the back home, but I'm like getting more independent and resilient from this experience.
Yeah, for sure. A follow-up to that then, do you find that you have more individualistic approaches? Like, do you find yourself doing like, I know there's some common, just in general from other people that do like journaling or meditation. Do you take any of those when it comes to stress?
I have started reading books. Like I used to read back in days, but I had stopped at some point. But now I have started doing that again. So like whenever I'm stressed or something, I just prefer to read something good. And it doesn't matter whatever it is. I just hop into my Kindle and I just read something for hour and a half. It will make me like feel less stressed.
Yeah, I think reading's a good thing just to take your mind off of whatever you're thinking, kind of a good distraction too, but still really beneficial because there's obviously tons of benefits of reading alone, in general, which I think is good, but definitely for stress, just to get your mind off, which is a really good point too. I don't read as much. I just find that I do so much reading for school, but I definitely feel like I try to take it up more in the summer months just because I think it is that like calming activity that's really nice to have. So, um, do you have any sort of just last minute remarks or suggestions for people that are just so overwhelmed with school that like you found are like the number one tool that everyone should adapt to?
Like you just don't stress about just good marks, but you just have to like be a good person and don't worry about the results. Even like a single paper cannot decide your future, but it can, but it doesn't matter. So
No,
yeah.
100%, right? We're all just living on a floating rock right now. At the end of the day, what you do today or tomorrow isn't gonna determine the rest of your life. So I think that's a really good
Yeah.
point, just living every day and not taking those marks or those credentials so seriously, right? As long as you're
Yeah,
putting
like just have the experience of your school. Like just don't remember that you have to get the good grades. You have to learn something from that. That's all.
Yeah, for sure. I love that. Okay, well, that concludes this episode. Thank you so much, Nidhi, for sharing your experiences and being part of this conversation. I really appreciate it. And to everyone listening, whether you're currently stressed, procrastinating, or just trying to get through the week, just know that you are not alone and what you're feeling is incredibly valid. And hopefully, there are a few strategies you can take away from the episode to help manage your stress. Thank you for tuning to Undocumented Health, and I'll catch you in the next episode.